Guys, today I want to talk to you about how to trade stocks and options in 2023. Hey guys, Kunal here, Bulls on Wall Street. So every single trading year is a completely different story. 2022 was a bear market, but for most of the year, we just grinded along and kind of was flatlined in the market. And we had an overall choppy market for the second half of the year. So the strategies that we would use then are completely different than what we can do to supercharge our trading in 2023. 2023 is about big trends. If you look at the average price of what the major tech stocks have been doing in 2023, it would blow your mind, right? Meta up 100%, Nvidia up over 100%, Tesla up over 100%. These stocks have been going nuts and they've been doing it in a big trending environment. And so the style of trading you're going to be doing is completely different than in 2022. In 2022, my hold times on stocks were like 5-10 minutes half the time because the market would just spike up and then completely fade. And then it would completely fade and it spiked back up. And we had all this kind of noise in the markets and huge amounts of volatility. Now the volatility is dampened to such a level that you don't have those huge fluctuations. You're getting much bigger grind higher with really pure trends. So today I want to talk to you about a strategy that I've been using that has been really supercharging the trend trading and momentum trading that I've been doing for the last 15 years. So most of you guys know, I'm a momentum trader. I like trading hot stocks that have news or big trends. In 2023, I brought on a student of mine, Levi, aka the Stock Hunter, who's an options trader, who's taught me this awesome strategy on how you take these day trades that you're doing on momentum stocks, but then you use options to really minimize the risk and get those big explosive returns. So today I'm gonna go over a couple trades that we did in CVNA, UPST, and AI on some real simple red to green strategies, and then how I use options to take these kind of 10-15% trades and make them into 100-200% trades. Guys, let's get to work. So what we want to do when we are doing this type of pattern, what I want to do is marry a momentum trade with an options trade. So the setup becomes, okay, how do we find that picture perfect entry when we're going to be getting into this trade? So ideally, what we're looking for, and this is my favorite setup, is a stock that's going to have a big trend in the previous day along with a breakout. And you want to have a pure momentum stock. So everything has to be just perfect. You can't just do it blindly. What I want to see is a breakout chart and then a stock that has a big trend the previous day. Now, today we had a huge gift in the market in that we had a really light open. And so this is your picture perfect open that you want to see on the NASDAQ itself. So we had a trend day in the NASDAQ, and then we had this really light open. In a bull market, flat markets or flat opens or slightly red opens are really the best setup because you don't have to chase a gap on these things. And so this is how I want to do these things. So right off at the open, we took a trade in UPST, and then I added CVNA, then I added AI, and then I doubled up a little bit on some of these a little bit later. But this becomes a really easy trade that you guys can do right off the bat to kind of supercharge these things. So this is the red to green entry. So on TC2000, the dotted line is your red to green entry. What that means is you're breaking over the previous day's high. The rule of thumb for this type of entry is to get a weak open. So what I mean by weak open is you want to see this stock either gap down or just drift down a little bit at the open. So you can see how this stock kind of gets down into 23.75. And what we're looking for is to see if this dip gets bought. Because what often happens is when you have a stock that really is strong the previous day, most people are looking at this and saying, hey, this thing's a turd. It was up 20% the previous day. It's probably going to be a short or flush down. So when it opens weak, it'll start to suck in those shorts. And what we want to do is hit this as soon as it gets over the dotted line. And I'll put a stop loss at the bottom of the candle and tighten it up as soon as it starts working, because it should start working right away. Now, on the option side of things, and this is something I learned from Levi in our options group, is when you're doing a quick day trade like this, I'll usually just go with the nearest strike price. So like I took the 25s. And so what we're doing here is I'm adding some common, just a couple thousand shares. Then I'll use the options to really kind of boost up the returns. So I'll come in and start adding this. And I got a 110, 115 average. And we want to start to bust this thing up right as it starts to break over there. And, you can start kind of layering into this thing as it starts to go, because it will be a little bit illiquid. And now you're off to the races, right? The good thing about options is obviously if it costs you $1, you can buy 10 contracts for $1,000. Or in this case, it was, $1,200. And now you're controlling 1,000 shares. If you wanted to spend just 4 or 5 grand, right, you could control 4,000 or 5,000 shares, and now you're really having yourself, a huge day. Now, sadly, I did not hold for the whole day because that's not my style. There's 3 stages to the trading day: the open, the middle, and the close, right? So the open is about taking the first shreds. Then the middle of the day, you want to hit the retracements into the VWAP. So those are different trades, and you can kind of reload into these things. But, for me personally, I'm always a little bit of a piker. I sold some at 25.10, and then I kept selling out of this thing. I sold out the last of 26.30s, so I'm always selling into these thrusts. And then what I'll do is later on in the day, I'll reload, because you don't want to be stuck in these retracements, especially if you're a day trader. So very, very simple setup, just a red to green. So similar deal on UPST, right? So UPST had this big trend the previous day. And so this is an awesome, right? An awesome momentum chart. And it runs with the AI companies and the quantum computing companies. So you got the week open on this bad boy. So, right? So this is the previous day's close. It dumps down like 80 cents at the open. That's great. We want to see that, right? And then what we're doing is just having a simple entry on this. So as you start to bust over this 33.60, right, I'll usually take just the nearest strike prices on these and play it off. Now, this one is not as liquid, right? So you can't go in with the same size. It's doing 1,000 contracts a day. So I'll usually do a mix of the commons and options, and I'll go strictly on the option side if it's really, really liquid and I can get size. Like if I wanted to get like 50 contracts or 100 contracts or whatever it might be, we want to be able to do those kind of things. And so very, very similar, right? This has been like the kind of go-to setup in this market, and you can use these options to really kind of just supercharge these things. So trend previous day, right? This is an oversold bounce play. Then you can come in, right? And I'll go out just, the next couple days or whatever and take the nearest strike price. And then we can start to rip and roar this thing. And that's kind of how you can supercharge your 2023. Now, this particular setup would not have worked in 2022 because we were in a bearish market and we were just in a really choppy market. So when you're in a super choppy, like bearish market, the red to green trade actually ends up being the short spot. So in 2022, when stocks were going red to green, that's actually where they were fading off every day. So you got to know your market conditions. There's 4 different market cycles. You have your accumulation phase, your run-up phase, your distribution phase, and your rundown phase. And so always be mindful of that too. You want to always pair your strategies with the type of market that you're in. I saw traders in 2022 that had made millions of dollars go completely off the radar because they lost all their money because they're not able to adapt. And that's one of the important parts of really trading with a group or listening to people that have experiences that have traded through bear markets. Guys, hopefully that helps. Smash that like button and let me know if you have any questions. Take care.